This is for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
And this is for the players, the Pop Culture PlayStation podcast. With close to 40 years playing PlayStation and 5 years in games media combined, we thought we'd throw a hat into the ring and join that PlayStation conversation.
If you would also like to join the PlayStation conversation, you can do so every Monday at 9 a.m. on YouTube, iTunes and SoundCloud, Facebook, as well as all other social media platforms.
Links are in the description.
But the biggest one we want to plug at the moment is our new Facebook group.
Yes.
At facebook.com/groups/popculturists.
Yeah.
That is the main place the PlayStation conversation takes place.
There is a lot of conversation that happens in that PlayStation
It
group.
is.
It's pretty
Probably
good.
not always PlayStation related.
No, it's
not.
it's the freedom to talk whatever
Yeah.
you want
It's a-
with us as
yeah.
well as a bunch of other of our smaller, tighter fans.
It's essentially the PopC off-topic forum.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty
Yeah,
good way to
yeah,
put it.
let's go with that.
How you been, man?
Great.
Shit.
Fucking great.
That's so good.
Everything's just going well, man.
Yeah, dude,
Not
like-
even just with what we're doing
Yeah.
here, but just outside of here as well. You know, my course is starting in 2 weeks.
What are you studying?
Digital media technologies,
Bang.
so 2 and 3D animation and web design. That should be fun. That could hopefully help us out in some way.
Kick Joel out.
Yeah. No, we need him. He's our tech support.
Yeah, love
you
John.
know, working with mum and dad as my part-time gig to support that. There's good games everywhere. Just everything's good.
I'm in the same boat as you, man. Like, PopC is doing great right now. I'm satisfied with work is a good way to put it. Like, I've turned a corner. I used to be really mad at it and I hated it. I'm still not a massive fan, but I'm
Accepted.
I'm numb. I'm accepted to it. I'm like, it's fine.
Is numb worse?
I think it was coming from like outside influences also affecting what I thought about work. So I'm not, now that everything else is kicking goals, like PopC is great right now. Home life is great. Like my wife is excellent. My son James, he is getting old enough now to want to come to me, and so when I walk in, hey, he's like, you know,
He seems pretty healthy.
and and he's doing great. So like with him being like, oh, I want to be with dad, made me feel really important again. So
Because
it's
now it's not just all about titties and milk.
yeah. So then that sort of helps with everything.
Yeah.
And I've been playing
sure.
a ton of good games this week.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing one game, which, just to throw a curveball at you,
Isn't Persona?
I want to do a quick review.
Oh, okay. Quick review.
Quick fire review. Injustice 2.
Oh shit.
This game is rad.
Yeah.
It is so rad. I finished the story is really good. Throughout the 12 chapter campaign, you do get a good taste of all the different characters. That kind of gives you a little bit of playtime for when you want to jump into everything else you can do. But the story, it wrapped up in such a way I was like, I did not see that coming. That is so cool. Whether it leaves any threads open or not is unsure.
Okay.
But it was really satisfying story and really fun to play through. A lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of traitorism and backstabbing and some bitch that just wouldn't like go away. I'll talk to you about that later. But on top of the story mode, this is just the standard edition of the game.
Yes.
The cheap one. Because I'm cheap. There is so much to do in this game.
When we did the stream originally, link in the description, we played the campaign for about an hour and we just beat the piss out of each other for the other hour.
Yeah.
And we did dive a little bit into the sort of the creative aspect of it, like the quote unquote RPG elements where you could build the weaponry and change the colors of your things. And
It is so much deeper than what we looked at.
thought?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So on top of, once you've done with the single player, you can go to the multiverse through the Brother Eye, where
What? Different than Oh!
this is how you do your grinding and all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
So you go to Brother Eye and it shows you the planets change every day.
Yeah.
Or some of them are on a 3-day cycle and new planets come in as Brother Eye finds them in the multiverse.
Okay.
And it's kind of like it's like a challenge mode kind of a thing. So in one, you'll just have to beat 3 people and you finish that multiverse. But other ones, they have level modifiers where like the gravity is off, so the world tips left to right. Sometimes health blobs fall from the sky to give you a bit of health. Sometimes you're in slow motion in that world. Sometimes you're in super speed in that world. It's a lot of variety.
Okay.
And then that gets your mother boxes flowing, which you open, which are essentially loot crates, which gives you the gear and all of that. And with the gear, I want to make this as quick as possible. With the
That's
gear,
fine. I'm interested as hell.
yeah. So with the gear, it has the RPG elements of building your character. You know,
Yeah.
you can get gear that gives you a lot of defense if you want to be a bit more tanky or more health. If you
It doesn't change the overall base stats of your character though. So
Not
like
base stats,
So if you're playing with Bane, right? Bane's inherently slower and a bit more slower, but
There's
like
no
a big up.
there's no
punch to
speed
it.
stat.
Okay.
So you can't make Bane fight like the Flash,
Yeah.
for example.
That's good.
But with the gear as well, on top of being able to re-roll the gear, you know, if you got something that yours is better, you can re-roll it and try to get something else. But also in terms of appearances, if you hit max level at level, which is level 20 for a character at the moment, and you've got like a level 10 helm, you're like, that helm just looks so good.
You can take the
You
style?
can take the style and put it onto your new helm. So you can literally build the character with the stats you want and the look.
That was my favorite. One of my favorite things. I think this is a standard with MMOs at this point. But like
Yeah.
with DCUO, is like I found this one set of gear that I'm like, this is perfect visually, and I locked the style. And
Yeah,
then I can interchange it, but I'll always look
And
the
World
same.
of Warcraft brought it in with they called it transmogrification as well. A stupid name. But on top of that, you can have AI battles.
Okay.
So essentially, you pick a team of 3 of your characters. You can, same as you would for your own character, give them the gear and all of that, and you just set them up as defenders, and then other people with their AI gears can like come and fight you without you needing to view anything. This is all happening behind the scenes.
Okay.
And the rewards from that, if your AI team beats their AI team, you get just mother boxes and stuff coming in for more gear and stuff. So I set up my team last night, jumped on this morning, I had 4 loot boxes there sitting there because
They just fight themselves over.
they just fight themselves in the background.
Oh damn!
But you can actively go in and find a team for your AI team to fight and watch that fight, and you can speed it up and that. But yeah, or you can just set them and leave them, and
That's
every now
cool.
and then, when someone fights your team, and if your team wins, it'll go, "Hey, you got a new mother box. Good work." And then the final thing I quickly want to talk about is the guild system.
Mm.
So I joined a guild last night, an Aussie guild. I don't know how it works with chat and all that, but
PopC guild?
no. Well, I'm the only one that has it.
I'll pick it up.
So
I kind of have to now.
there's all these guild challenges. So it's pretty much everything you do in the multiverse goes towards one of, I think, maybe 30 challenges that kind of tick up. Okay. And as the guild ticks off the challenges, you get guild mother boxes, which has a chance of even more rare gear and stuff like that. So it's definitely worth being in a guild as well.
Just my pants.
So final thoughts on this game. Well, they were my final thoughts, but just like you gave out your first perfect score for the year 2 weeks ago,
Shit.
I'm giving out my first perfect score of the year with a 5 out of 5 for Injustice 2.
Okay.
Because even with the base game, like all the kerfuffle aside, with which you can find an episode coming out this Friday, where we talk about all the marketing kind of mess ups that they've done.
Which, granted, now I've looked in a little bit more. So the original marketing didn't say the season pass,
Yep.
but I was looking on the PSN store last night and it says the game plus season pass.
Oh, they've
And
added
then
it now.
they've added
Do I
it
need to put a
since.
disclaimer on the video?
Potentially. We'll have to have a look at the marketing on like EB,
I'll watch
EB
it back
games
and
and
we'll
stuff.
see.
Yeah.
But all that aside, just the base game for $80 or whatever it may be, wherever you live, I have no faults. It controls so well. And even though some characters feel more comfortable than other ones,
Which I found in the,
you weren't a fan of playing as Harley Quinn because she just didn't flow the way Batman did. But in terms of that, that
excellent as
aside,
Green Arrow.
comfortability aside, they all control perfectly. It is just schmick. They do exactly what you want them to do when you want them to do it. Great game, 5 out of 5.
Damn.
This is amazing. I can't wait to finish this up today and just get back home and keep digging through the multiverse with Brother Eye.
Shit, like I'm supposed to go to an engagement party tonight. I think I might stop by JB on the way there. Just be like, sorry.
I'll just come over.
Just bail on the...
Yeah,
bail on
just
that.
beers and injustice. What about you? What have you been playing? You can't bail on the engagement party.
No,
so.
I can't. It's a nice thing. Then those people haven't met James yet, so I probably should.
Yeah, you better go.
Me, I've been playing a couple of things. The one I spent the most time with is, well, actually I lied. So I was starting out. So I spent a little bit of time with Prey again, just get a little bit more further into it. I got to a point where I now have a jetpack.
Ooh.
So I can actually leave the space station and go and fuck around outside,
How does that
which
make
was
you feel?
horrifying in first person.
Yeah.
Just playing it on a TV, I was like,
I want you to put it VR in theater mode just once to try it.
oh, I'm willing to give it a go just to kill myself.
Do it for the Vine.
Yeah, so like that game's still pretty good, still plodding along. Like I wanted to get further into that game, but it's just kind of one of those things. It's just like, because it is kind of slow on plotting, and like what I originally thought was really cool about the enemies, right, is like the mimics and shit. Like mimics are still really interesting. How you enter a room and this could be anything. Like that part's fun, but they now have these bigger ones, which is kind of like big brooding mimics, and they just fuck you up. Like as in they're just like, hey you,
Yeah.
and like they're really difficult to work with. So
Is that because you're bad though?
Could be, but like for me, it's kind of like, well, the mimics are fun because like it's but like, even still, like the design of them is kind of it's kind of these bland black things that jump out at you. So once you see them so X amount of times, that they kind of lose that oomph that they originally had. The gameplay is still great. I still really enjoy the gameplay of it. I like how it looks. I like how it's Bioshock and Half-Life. It's still great. But I also went and jumped onto the US PSN the other day. So I still had about $20-25 left on there from when I purchased something. I purchased Manhunt, the PS2 classic. I had to buy like a $30 card or whatever. So I picked up a couple of things in a sale. I picked up The Order 1886 for like $3.
Ooh.
Which I've never played, so that'd be interesting. I picked up Soma.
Okay.
Now, Soma is a request from one of our listeners and / viewers. Her name's Kara.
Yep.
She messaged me a while back and says, "Hey, can you please play Soma? I think this would be a very..."
I'll do a stream of it.
Yeah, she's like, "I think this will be a great stream." I'm like, "All right, fan to band." So I played that for like $3. I'm like, "All right." So
that game had a lot of buzz about it when it came out.
Like it might be, we might not get a lot of traction, seeing it's quite an old game now, but I think it's something worthwhile checking out.
Horror games have that kind of longevity.
They do. And the third one I've picked up is, funny enough, God of War 3 Remastered.
Ooh.
Whole $4. That game looks so good. It plays really well.
It's funny because it's funny that when I came over last week and as you've been playing it for a while, you're like, because you've always been like, I don't get photo modes. I mean, I get them. I don't use them. I don't really care. Why are they there? And then I come here and like a parent showing off their kid on Facebook with just tons of photos. You brought up your God of War folder on the PS4 and you were just showing me all your cool screenshots with different filters,
different frames,
different framing, different poses.
Oh, for me, it came from wanting, like, I wanted a really cool theme for the PlayStation of God of War. They didn't have one. I'm like, well, I guess I'll just take some cool photos as I play. And then it's like, oh, I'm kind of getting into this. Oh, what if I put it this angle? Like, and like it doesn't have like the free movement that say like Horizon does. That you can freeze the world, find the angle you want. So it's pretty much whatever's on the screen. So it's very like beta photo mode. But like there are like this game is, as we all know, so incredibly cinematic.
Yeah. That
you can find those key moments and then just freeze it. Boom.
I almost guarantee God of War 4 will have a photo mode in it.
Without doubt. Yes, this game plays really well. It runs at 60 frames, 1080, so it's stunning, right? And the motion is so fluid. And like it's funny because you can, I guess because I never really looked at God of War the same way we look at games now, right? Because like, we're at a place where we have to process it all, and it's like so. There are very Dark Souls light things, right? As in a lot of the enemies have very, like especially the bosses have the very patterns, right?
Yeah.
And you got to duck. You can't just run in. You got to duck and dive.
And the
jump
moves where if I hit you with this, you are messed up.
Yeah, so and that part's kind of fun, right? And like as I said, Dark Souls light. There's like Dark Souls is way smoother, and like they've worked on this, they've defined it. But it's still really fun to sort of, once you work out the pattern, like when you take on Hades, right, one of the first big bosses, like you go like, okay, 1, 2, 3, spin, just jump around to his back, 1, 2, 3, and he's back around, 1, 2, 3, swinging around, like you get that pattern going down.
Yeah.
And then if you fuck up that pattern, you've ruined.
Yeah, but once you get the pattern, the bosses are a cakewalk for the most part.
But it's still fun though. Like it's not like a cakewalk as in, and it loses all its oomph. And all it's really doing is getting me super hyped for the new one.
Yeah.
Like crazy hyped.
Cool.
Oh, I need more of this so bad.
Which may or may not be coming out this year.
May or may not. We'll have to wait and see. Give it about a month, I reckon. Yeah. And finally, I've been playing Farpoint in VR as well.
I saw you streaming that on Friday night.
We did stream that on Friday night. So that was really that was fun. It controls well. There's a weird known issue where everything is sort of like, I think the thing's exactly 10 degrees to the left.
Oh, okay.
So like everything's sort of off center just a smidge, so you kind of have to play a little bit like this.
So even if you like recalibrate it?
Yeah, no, it's a known issue with the game.
Okay.
Hopefully it gets patched out because that'd be lovely. Yeah. But the aim control works well. It's pretty responsive. There's a nice vibration function in there, so it gives it a little bit of oomph. The game is visually stunning. for what it is. Like, anything sort of kind of close is fine. Like, it still has that sort of vague screen door effect, but like this has some really good like vistas, right? So you look up and see this giant volcano, and the plume in the sky is just beautiful. No, I was running it through a PS4 Pro, so I'm sure with the super sampling, it probably makes it a little bit cleaner than because I've not done a lot of VR on the Pro since I picked it up. So I'm curious to see what the other games look like now coming back.
Yep. It gives you a reason to plug the VR back in and play.
It does. It's fun. The game's really cool. I like what it is. As I said in the stream as well, for me, it was putting my money where my mouth is. I want VR to be something great. I want it to be something excellent. And if the only thing that I can do to make that happen is by buying these big titles when they come out, put that support in there and make it happen. And this game's great. It's like, it's not amazing. So far, the enemies seem quite repetitive. Outside of walking into a little room and killing a bunch of spiders in varying sizes, I haven't found anything else to it yet. I've only played for about 2 hours.
Yeah. From what I've seen, it's about a 6-hour campaign. So this may be a game you can actually finish this year. Start to end.
Doubt it.
See the credits roll. When's the last time you saw credits roll on a video game?
Job Simulator.
That doesn't count.
And probably Inside, but that was last year as well. Damn.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at this.
No.
Look, the only tough part is trying to find the time to play it in VR. Like it was, it was difficult to convince my wife last night. I'm like, hey, I've got to strap this shit onto my head, and I'm gonna be out of the world for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
and that's the biggest downside to VR is you do simply isolate yourself. But that's what we've been playing. What's the news this week?
I don't know. What's the segment called?
I forget. Inform the players.
Yeah,
there it is.
Teething issues. They're going slowly.
I forgot that we had a name for it.
Yeah, it's one of the only segments we actually have a name
7 bits
for.
of news we have this week.
1, 2.
About
I don't know.
5,
You've thrown
6?
a lot at me.
Yeah.
More like 7. 7 bits of news, beginning with a bit of a sad one.
Oh, get out of the way.
It is worth having a quick talk about. Voice actor John Saigon, known for his role as Solidus Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, has died. He was 63. Saigon passed away on Saturday, May 13th after battling cancer. John Wasser of the Atlas Talent Agency confirmed to The Hollywood Reporter. In addition to voicing Solidus Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2, Saigon starred as Lieutenant Paulie Pentangeli in the ABC series The Commish. Saigon's voice acting career also spans a wide array of animated films, including Monsters University, Toy Story 3, Cars, Wall-E, Up, Inside Out, and many more. In addition to the Metal Gear Solid 2, Saigon was a voice actor for several other video games as well, including Broken Age, Grandia 2, and Spec Ops: The Line. Saigon is survived by his wife Kathy and his children Jack and Annie.
Man, that's sad news.
Yeah, it's like voice actors they're really behind the scenes heroes, because a lot of them, you know the voice but you don't know the actor, but then when one of them happens to disappear and pass away, you know, it just leaves this gap.
Yeah, and then when you start looking at the list of voices they've been, and you start realizing, like, man, this guy or girl is in so many things that I grew up with or I loved.
Yeah, definitely.
And that voice is now gone.
Yeah,
that's kind of sad.
It is very sad.
You know, like this is not a PlayStation thing, but there's another big name that passed away this week was Chris Cornell, of Soundgarden and Audio Slave. It's going to hit me pretty hard a little bit.
Yeah, especially
big fan of
when
those
more
two
details
bands.
came out.
Yeah, it turns out it was suicide, and like with I've completely blanked on his name already. I was thinking about
John
Chris Cornell.
Saigon.
With John Saigon, you know, it's a health one. That's still tragic.
Yeah.
But, you know, with Chris Cornell, it's like, well, it looks to be a suicide at this point. That's just heartbreaking. Whenever I hear stories about, like, suicide, you know, as someone that's been surrounded by it, you know, I know people that have been affected by it. I know people that have, you know, that have killed themselves. Like, those stories, those issues hit me a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And it kind of fucks me up a bit.
Because you can relate to the unexpectedness of it.
Yeah, and just the pain of the family and even potentially the pain that he was going through.
That you didn't really know about.
Yeah, and that's what sucks. It sucks really hard.
Same going back even further to Robin Williams as well.
Oh, man, that still hurts me.
Yeah.
Still hurts me.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
Well,
he's this character on screen all the time, always so happy, but then behind the scenes, you just don't know what's going on.
Well, rest in peace, John Saigon.
Yes, thank you.
Sad to you go.
Thank you for all the work you have done for our childhoods. Let's move on from the sad stuff.
Dude.
Let's get the show back onto the good stuff.
Yeah!
Even though this is kind of sad as well.
Oh.
Bandai Namco's upcoming flight sim Ace Combat 7 Skies
dang.
Unknown has been delayed to 2018. Ace Combat franchise director Kazutoki Kono announced the delay in a personal letter addressed to fans, saying he and his development team, Project Aces, need more time to realise the vision they had for the title. That's pretty generic, standard.
Need more time.
Yeah, need more time. Thanks to the power of current generation hardware and Unreal Engine 4, the skies of opportunity have been opened to the Project Aces team, Kono said. He also noted how today's technology has allowed them to deliver the minute details of flight combat, such as cloud cover and air currents, or give players a new way to experience dogfights and attack sorties through hardware such as a new PSVR. But it's a shame because my dad is very, very excited for this game.
Also, like I was at another shindig the other day, and one of the guys there, Tristan, he came over to my house once and played VR, loved it, and he's like, "Man, like VR is so good. Like I'm thinking about picking one up, but there's nothing that's sold me just yet. Like a flight sim is what I would need." I'm like, "Well, my friend, Ace Combat 7 should be coming out this year." He's like, "Oh, really?" And I have to be like, "Hey."
Well, because my dad's big on flight sims.
Yep.
He used his Vive with a flight sim, and he flew to Surface Paradise from Avalon Airport through the flight sim. He loves it because it's so detailed. You know, he can fly over there like his house. He can go to fly over my house. You know, so flight sims are his jam. I remember playing Ace Combat with him on PS1 for many, many, many hours. So it's a bummer to see it delayed, but I'm sure it will be a spectacular VR title when it comes out.
See, everyone gets bummed about delays, and that's fine because you can be. You're valid to feel that, but it's something that's like I would much rather a better game be released than a pooier non-delayed one.
There's plenty else to play in the meantime. Speaking of plenty more to play, number 3. I'm delaying for dramatic effect. Natsumi and Rising Star Games have announced a new entry in the Harvest Moon franchise that will release for PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Titled Harvest Moon Light of Hope, the new game will have a style that harkens back to the series' Super Nintendo roots and feature a robust story and clear-cut goals, as Ryan continues to dance next to me. Light of Hope puts you in the shoes of a character whose ship is struck by a monsoon during a voyage. After drifting to a small harbour town that was hit by the storm, it will be up to you to help rebuild the town and revive its lighthouse by tending to livestock, gathering materials, growing crops, and more. Those attending E3 2017, which is now sold out to the public, just a quick side note,
cool,
will be able to play the game on Nintendo Switch and PC at Natsumi's booth. In a quote, Harvest Moon Light of Hope will set itself apart from other Harvest Moon titles with its depth, Natsumi president and CEO Hiro Maekawa said. We set out to create a SNES-style nostalgic game with deep and meaningful characters and events, and we are excited to have our fans play it at E3 and tell us what they think.
See, this is where I get really excited. Like, I'm super, super excited because it's more Harvest Moon. But it's that weird conflict.
What did you say last week? About Harvest Moon? Was it on for the players?
I'll just address the camera.
Okay.
So hi everyone.
Give yourself the one.
Hi. So last week, when we were asked a question by Paul whether a Harvest Moon game would ever come to the PlayStation 4, I did make the statement that there would be absolutely zero to no chance of that happening. I'd like to let you know that I was wrong. I admit that I was wrong because this news is fantastic. But I just thought
I would like to sincerely apologise to you.
I'd like to sincerely apologise to you all if I was misleading in my incorrect guess. But it's fucking great.
See, as knowledgeable as we kind of sort of are of the industry, there's plenty of surprises.
Oh yeah, I would have not predicted this in the heartbeat, right? Like if I was like, hey, guess what? New Harvest Moon. I'm like, get the fuck out.
So you were saying before your monologue apology that you're in two ways about this?
I'm at 3 different places. So
3?
Yeah. So
how many personalities?
It's more Harvest Moon. Fuck yes, give me more Harvest Moon. 2, as I've discussed prior, it's not the OG creators of Harvest Moon. They're off doing story of seasons and stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's fine. But it's 20 years worth of Harvest Moon. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And like, we're gonna go back to the SNES style. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be very much like Stardew Valley.
Possibly.
That's my only concern. But because these guys have got 20 years worth of skills, I think they might make a better Stardew Valley.
Possibly. They said in their quote, the focus was creating characters with a lot of depth to them, which I don't believe Stardew Valley had. You had the townspeople, and they all had their own kind of stories and stuff.
I wouldn't say they were deep-ish, but they weren't like deep.
Yeah. Not like RPG deep.
No.
No.
I still can. unpick the downside is we don't really have anyone at Bandai on our side.
We might want
because they're really picky, but I'm gonna buy it. Let's buy it. Fuck it.
Well, speaking of deep characters, a new Life is Strange game is officially in development. Developer Don't Nod announced today. Not today, 2 days ago. That's what I get for copy and pasting news articles. Work on the game began shortly after the physical version of Season 1 shipped in January 2016, according to a post on Square Enix's official website. There is no word on whether the new game will pick up after the events of the first, or if it will even follow the same cast of characters at all. Don't Nod also confirmed the game won't be shown at this year's E3. In addition to the announcement, Don't Nod, I keep wanting to say do not nod, revealed Life is Strange has passed 3 million unique paying players, a figure that doesn't include those who downloaded the series' first episode for free, which you can still do. Episode 1 of Life is Strange is permanently free on PSN, so if you, like us, haven't played that game just yet, I plan on picking up episode 1 probably tonight. Give it a go, because there is so much positive buzz going about this game.
One of our friends, Britt Howarth, who used to work with us back in the day, she loves it.
Yeah,
absolutely loves it. So I guarantee her this news will make her very happy.
Good news for her as well. Branching off that, last year Square Enix announced it would develop a live-action Life is Strange TV show for digital streaming services in partnership with Legendary Entertainment. No other info on that. But it's just worth mentioning.
Yeah, like Life is Strange has a lot of good buzz around it. Like I remember that game being quite well praised at the time of release. Yep. It was one of those things though, I was just like, oh yeah, I'll get to that. I never did.
Yeah, but like I said, episode 1 is still free, permanently free on the PlayStation Store, so it'll be worth checking out. Definitely worth checking out.
Excellent. So let's jump over to let's talk about Ubi.
Want to go Ubi?
Let's go Ubi.
Ubisoft has announced a lot of shit
this week.
A whole ton of shit. First off, the official forums are now up for Far Cry 5.
Damn.
There's literally no further information other than a new logo that came out that says, "Are you ready for a hefty dose of a new Far Cry adventure?"
So essentially what has happened is Ubisoft had their financial announcement yearly thing.
Whatever it's called.
Whatever the fuck it's called. Like they have this thing where they talk about this is where our financials are this year sort of thing. And through that they announced Far Cry 5. Officially announced it. Now everyone know that was in the works. Like it'd be dumb to think that isn't happening. Yeah. All there is right now is a white logo with a bit of blue and red behind it.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they're going with that.
The traditional Far Cry colours. The traditional Far Cry colours.
Yes.
And they've also announced the Crew 2.
Yeah, we did get a copy of the Crew from Ubi. I played it for a little bit. Didn't handle too well on the Xbox. But wasn't really sort of the game for me. Troy Baker was the voice on it though. It was weird.
Good. No other info on the Crew 2 other than a tease that reads, "Beyond the road, stay with us for more high-octane thrills."
Oh, dang.
And then, of course, a new Assassin's Creed announcement.
No confirmation on the name or the setting or anything. It's just...
Sharpen your blade. The assassins will soon step out of the shadows.
And it's like a sort of a greeny turquoise colour. Is it green? From the angle it looks green.
Yeah, it's a blue-green.
Blue-green. With like the gold Assassin's logo. It's interesting. I think we'll get more in the coming weeks, of course.
I'm interested to see... Sorry, just before you get on to what you really want to talk about... to see if that 1 year break between the franchise helps. You know what I mean? Because was it Unity was the last one that came out? Syndicate. And every Assassin's Creed game that's come out in the recent years has had something wrong. Something that the internet just loves to fucking rip apart.
Yeah, but they become like the whipping boy. Like, that's what it came down to. So it wasn't an issue of... The games were buggy, but not as buggy as everyone said they were. And that's when you get moments of the vocal minority, right? So with Unity, the whole like face missing glitch thing happened noticeably infrequently compared to what the internet was saying that it was.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. It's funny. The internet grabs onto it and it runs with it.
I'm interested. Hopefully it's kind of like a... Because I don't want to get into the franchise now because there's too much.
I would probably be interested in jumping into this one just to see what the improvements are and how much a better game it could or may or may not be.
But the final bit of Ubi news I'll let you talk about because you are super excited.
I'm just going to lean this way for a little bit. I want to lean this way so you can see in excitement. I put them on display.
Why is there blue tack?
I don't know. South Park, The Fractured Butthole finally has a new release date after being originally delayed from its March release date, after I think being delayed from October last year, I think. October 17, Star Wars, South Park, The Fractured Butthole in our hands.
I'll believe it when it's in your hands, because I said you are not getting that game this year, and I'm still standing by it. Just because I'm proud.
Any longer delay than that would be crazy.
Yeah.
And
but I'm excited for you. I'm excited that you're excited.
Like there's a great little teaser trailer up online for it. You know, they talk about how there's this new guy in town who's just running around fighting people's faces and balls. You know, it's like it's crazy. And then one of the, like, they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it! It was like it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I can't be fighting on my balls." You know, and I guess one of the guys like, "This guy's out of control. At what point does the Daredevil become the Punisher?" What? 3 seasons. Like, it brings in a lot of that meta humor that we know and love from South Park. So I'm so keen for this game. Like,
well, it's good too, because having a quick look at what's confirmed for October release this year, there's nothing else.
Everything,
until E3.
It's a really quiet time of the year, and I think it'll certainly give South Park that boost. Like, that game will do numbers anyway, but giving it a time where it's surrounded by nothing, and it's just before that big November push.
The big Christmas push.
So I think it's in a really good place. Yeah. If it comes out there when it's supposed to.
Second last bit of news for the week. I forgot what number we're up to, but that's just the kind of show we run.
Yeah.
The top selling PS4 games in Australia for the week ending May 14th have been announced. Starting from number 10. Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Number 9, Rainbow Six Siege. The rest of the list is identical to the week before.
Without
just
Little Nightmares.
Jump it a little bit without Little Nightmares. Number 8, Persona 5. Number 7, Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. Number 6, still GTA 5. Fucking insanity. Number 5, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Number 4, Horizon. Number 3, Ghost Recon Wildlands. Number 2, Prey. And number 1, for 2 weeks running since it came out, AFL Evolution.
Well done, AFL Evolution.
Woo, well done.
That's really, really impressive. I still think that has a bit of legs. I would be curious.
Yeah,
I think it'll be in the top 10 for a while, which is great.
Yeah,
that's
I think
good.
From here, it'll slowly start to drop down, but it'll hang in there for a very long time.
Man, that's so good. Bad about Little Nightmares, but being the short game that it is, it's probably not.
Yeah. Little Nightmares is a very streamable game. Like, you can watch someone stream through it in a couple of plays. But it's just like seeing the other game, the caliber of the games that are in that list, and for it to be keeping that kind of company, it's really cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Nice.
Who was the developer again?
Wicked Witch and True Blue
We
Games.
gave them a props last week, so a second props this week. Well done.
Well done the internet. Well done the Australian gaming community for like putting their money where their mouth is and being like, we want an AFL game, so we're going to fund this shit. Fuck yeah.
So I'm sure when the inevitable AFL Evolution 2 comes, it will be a much more visually polished game. That's good. Last bit of news for the week. We saved the best for last. We got a shit ton of Destiny 2 news this week.
Yeah.
A whole lot of news. I'm going to quick fire through the important stuff, and then we'll just have a quick chat about it. So, it's coming out September 8th, 2017.
September also a quiet month at this point. So that's good.
It will also launch on PC.
Damn.
Not at the same time as consoles, though.
Okay,
it'll be a little later. Developers are obviously Bungie and High Moon Studios.
Nothing new there.
Published by Activision Blizzard. Now, what's interesting is the PC version, the servers will be on the Blizzard launcher.
That's huge.
Which is huge because Blizzard, being Blizzard, arguably the actual biggest video game company in the world, their servers are great. The launcher is a bit average. In the way it patches games, it's weird how it all works, and it's a bit of laggy launcher, but the servers themselves are fucking crisp.
Okay.
And also, on PC, you'll be able to play the game in 4K.
Oh, dang.
Now, Bungie have come out and said, this is a weird statement that I want to get your opinion on.
Okay.
The PS4 Pro is not powerful enough to run the Destiny at 60 frames per second.
If at 4K?
At 4K.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, what will be interesting news when this news inevitably drops, will the Scorpio be able to?
Oh, good point.
That will be interesting. But, obviously, they wouldn't have put that in the announcement because Destiny 2 has a third-party deal with PlayStation at the moment.
It does. And that leads us in to the key topic of conversation.
We still do not have a name.
Now, Craig did suggest a name to me this week.
Oh, did he?
He called it the main menu.
The main menu for the players.
Yeah. It doesn't really dive with the players part. I kind of like it.
So the news is the entree. and the from the players is the dessert.
No, his main menu isn't the main menu when you click, start or select on it.
I was picturing a restaurant setting.
Oh. no, like as in like yeah. So we'll have to work on that.
Well,
thank you, Craig. We'll have to work on that.
We'll see.
So, keeping up with our road to E3, right? Sony has itself a good third-party relationship deals. As we've mentioned before, it's got Destiny 2, so Activision is on their side. We've got EA with Battlefront 2, and we have Activision again with Call of Duty.
Activision loves Sony.
Yeah. So what I think we should talk about this week is, well, we'll cover it in two ways. One, how does these third-party deals affect PlayStation itself? And how does it affect us as the players?
Okay. Well, which one do you want to
We'll
go with
kick
first?
things off with how it benefits PlayStation.
Well, it's pretty obvious how it benefits PlayStation. First off is the brand awareness. Sony have the incredibly large market share that they do. In terms of consoles in-houses, they outnumber Microsoft 2 to 1 now, is it?
Could be 3 to 1 at this point, yeah.
Oh, Jesus fucking
Could
Christ.
be. Like, it's getting pretty out of control.
The gap keeps getting a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So Sony obviously want to push that even though exclusives are important, they get the sweet third-party stuff as well.
Yeah.
And that will obviously drive more new players over to the Sony console instead of Microsoft because they just want stuff early. And of course, it would benefit the developers who strike these deals with Sony because I'm sure Sony give them so much fucking money to do these exclusive deals that for them, the benefit seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and like that's certainly the case. So these publishers will go where the money is, right? Like it's a business decision. Like there's the reason that Activision works so exclusively with Xbox for the Xbox 360 PS3 generation, right? Simply because the numbers were on Xbox's side. Xbox 360 had the market share. So when they're like, well, let's Call of Duty, let's put exclusive DLC on the Xbox because that's where most people are going to get it initially. Now, unlike like Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is that year exclusive, like that dumb deal.
Yeah. Like
most of these are sort of just marketing deals, as in like any bit of marketing for Destiny or Call of Duty or
Battlefront
or they will all feature the PlayStation logo.
Yeah.
So outside of that, so it's not as if it's restricting. They're like with the DLC as an example, a lot of it is 30 days exclusivity. Which is not too bad. Like it's manageable. It's kind of frustrating, but it's manageable.
Yeah.
So like as I said, for PlayStation, it's great because everyone's going to think, oh, it's only on
Sorry, I just hit the
PlayStation.
microphone.
If they think, oh, this is only on PlayStation, like, oh, okay, I better pick up a PlayStation. And when
it's the casual gamers at a glance,
Yeah.
Who maybe haven't got into this gen yet, and they see an ad for Call of Duty World War II, and it comes up with PlayStation's like, oh fuck, well, better if I want to play that, I'll get a PlayStation. It's just the psychological marketing kind of thing too.
But so in terms of that way, like it's great for everyone. Like in terms of the business side of it, right?
Yeah.
So it's great for PlayStation because they're like they are funneling money into it, but they're getting that money back probably head over fist, right?
Oh, sure.
People are buying consoles, but it's nothing but a sweet business deal.
Do you think it's like a kind of like a bidding war? Like let's just say Activision go to Microsoft and Sony, same email. We're willing to do this with one of you guys. Give us your bets.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
That's
how much are you willing to drop? And Sony go, well, we'll drop more than they will.
Well, I think that's what it would come down to, and I think that's a lot of the case. So, like, that's why you get second-party exclusives because it's like, we want you here, and they're like, we want you here exclusively. So here's a ton of money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And like, I think that's certainly the case. Without a doubt, Activision would have been like, okay, we're especially earlier in the generation with like Destiny 1 as an example, like we're like, we want to bring this out. This is Bungie. Bungie have worked with Xbox before, so they probably got a little bit of animosity or like we've done it over there.
You
Let's come over here.
motherfuckers. Yeah.
And with Activision, it was just simple. Just went where the money is. That's fine.
Yeah. Activision are big enough to do whatever the fuck they want.
What about the players though? How does this affect the players?
Well, I'd look at it like, if I had an Xbox this generation and already, all the podcasts and the news and all that are normally just like, well, it makes it feel like Xbox is already you've got the second best console on the market. Just as a stereotype, yeah? Yeah,
but there are details that actually support that also.
Oh, no, for sure. But like I'd imagine I would already be feeling like I made the wrong choice. And this would just kind of hammer it home even harder. But if that pushes me to go and buy a PlayStation, then that's exactly what they're trying to do at the same time. But as a player of the games, I'd feel a little bit, have I made the wrong choice? A lot of self-doubt.
Little buyer's remorse.
Yeah, buyer's remorse. Because I started this generation with an Xbox One. Before I thought we got to the end of the life cycle of PS3 and Xbox 360. And I thought, at that time, seeing what the games Xbox had coming was more appealing to me than what PlayStation had coming, because PlayStation wasn't in this place at the start of the generation.
Yeah, they didn't launch this strong.
They didn't launch this strong at all. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna shift this generation, try something new, have a refreshing start. And after about 6 months, I traded the Xbox in and bought a PS4 instead.
When we talked about it, you're like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, trade it in.
Yeah, I sold it to my dad actually, who's now traded it into EB games. But you know what I mean? You kind of, a lot of people only have enough money to dedicate themselves to one console for a generation, and that's just the fact, because they're expensive machines, and so you kind of want to feel like you've made the right choice. And I think these third-party deals to players might make you feel like you've made the wrong choice, and that would suck a little bit.
Yeah, I certainly think it does affect the players in that way, and they're like, oh man, let's got this new Xbox. It's like, yeah, but you're at a disadvantage. It's kind of like,
yeah.
See, like for me, I've always been a PlayStation guy, like, and that's sort of where this show stems from, was the fact that, I've always had PlayStation. Like, I've never owned an Xbox until Christmas of last year when I bought the Xbox One,
and that was purely because we were getting codes for Xbox.
Yeah, and that's essentially our review machine. That's what I use it for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, now the Xbox One S exists. The gap is closer, like the gap is shortened between the two of them in terms of like technology wise, right? So as most third party games run at 1080 on the PS4, no worries. Run at 900 on the Xbox. Like that's not pretty unnoticeable to the average person, but like those little things sort of help show the Xbox is not quite as powerful in some ways. Mm-hmm. There are other ways. I think the RAM's a little bit better, so it's a little bit faster in some other aspects. Technical things.
Technical,
you know what I mean? But like that's the thing, right? And like as players, like if you are really into Destiny, it's highly likely you're a PlayStation player anyway. Because when they first marketed that game, outside of like, because Destiny's always was in works for a while. I think before the new generation jump, right? Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people like Bungie, it's gonna be on Xbox, right? And they're like, oh no, it's on everything, and I think once the second they were like, we made a deal with PlayStation, everyone just jumped ship, no questions asked.
Yeah, because there might have been one of the only things keeping them on Xbox was because Bungie was
Halo.
Microsoft's best first-party developer, by a large margin. So I don't even know how. It'd be interesting to find out how you kind of go from being a first-party into a multi-platform developer. That might be an interesting thing to look at.
See, and the other thing as well is, with every business deal, there will always be someone that's missing out. Mm-hmm. And in terms of, as in like, we're doing this with PlayStation. We're like, well, what about Xbox? We're doing this with Xbox. What about PlayStation? You know what I mean? And so, like, that's the shitty part. Is someone will always get bummed out. Mm-hmm. Someone.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'd love to just... This is my ideal gaming landscape, right? Nice. You get all new game releases that come out. Keep the exclusives, that's fine. I get that they're an important thing. But you get the standard edition and a collector's edition. No other mumbo jumbo, no other whizzle wazzle, as our new phrase might be. Nothing convoluting that. And the games themselves that are multi-platform are just marketed as multi-platform. Just keep it simple for everybody.
Yeah, but that's not business.
But it's not business, so I'm just saying this is my ideal gaming landscape.
But yeah, so
just the ad for Destiny 2 just shows Destiny 2. It doesn't have the PlayStation at the end of it.
It goes PlayStation, Xbox, PC, which is what it used to do, like way back in the day.
Exactly.
Until they realised that there's money in. Yeah,
unfortunately, it's just the world we live in, and the timed exclusive stuff. You get the PlayStation gets the new multiplayer map pack 30 days earlier than Xbox. That sucks. That sucks.
Yes,
30 days isn't long, but if you have the Xbox and you're a competitive player and having to kind of get behind the times, like if you're playing at top level and then you get behind the times because of that would suck a little bit too.
See, well, my final thoughts are essentially, look, I think it's fine from a business side, makes perfect sense. You go where the money is, and when you have over 50, potentially 60 million PS4s out there, it's a lot of people that are willing to buy your game. So you do something to entice people to buy it on that game, on the platform. That makes perfect sense.
Just on the words of Destiny 2, how they said that it won't run at 60 FPS in 4K on the PS4.
It won't do on the Xbox ever.
It will be super interesting because if they come out and say the Scorpio, if they come out and say the Scorpio can run this at 4K 60 FPS, that will be a very interesting turn of events to see kind of
I think it would be, but in terms of how that's going to direct, I don't think that will... I honestly don't think enough people give too much of a shit about 4K and 60 frames. Me personally, I do a little bit.
Yeah.
Now that I'm sort of diving into that, so I'm like... Ooh, I'm not going to buy a Scorpio because it's going to be expensive as hell, and my Xbox plays just fine. So it's kind of like that for some people. That would be the decision maker, knowing that the Destiny runs this well. Sweet, they're going to go to the Scorpio.
But then there'll also be the Scorpio comes out a few months after Destiny 2 launches as well. So if you really want Destiny 2, are you going to buy it twice? Or do you buy it on Xbox One and then there's the patch for the Scorpio or whatever that makes it run that well? It'll be interesting. It's just going to be an interesting turn of events to kind of watch.
In terms of how it affects the players, though, I think you're always going to bum someone out, but I don't think it's as negative as people will think initially.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you just said. I just hope that the 1 year exclusive things fuck right off. Like with Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Just go away. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, that sort of deal in particular made me really mad and really sour because
there's a big
1 year is enough to greatly hinder. Like Square Enix would have had to, and Crystal Dynamics would have had to got a nice big boost of dollars to agree to that decision. Yeah, because that is so restrictive on their sales.
Yeah, because after a year, most people don't give a dick anymore.
That's true.
That's just the industry we live in.
Let's jump. Speaking of how it affects the players, let's jump into the question, which is from the players.
Ooh, the only segment name that actually works.
Yeah.
Yay.
So those of you that do watch and enjoy this show, you can join the conversation by in the comments below asking us questions. Go to the Facebook group, facebook.com/popculturists.
/group/popculturists.
Yep. You can. There's tons of places you can ask all the questions, just like these following people have. This I think this ties in with what we just talked about with the 4K. So Lee asked the question: does Sony intend to release native 4K or HDR games or Pro-only titles once they make enough of a market share to make it viable?
See, this was the concern when the Pro was being announced. Are they going to end up, separating the player base, which I think would be a very, very bad idea. However, it would be really interesting to see how much the Pro can actually do if unhindered by the standard PS4 and its limitations as well. Will they do it? I don't think so.
No.
They've come out before and they've said they won't. And I don't think it really matters how much of a market share Sony get. They're on record saying they won't do that because that's not what they want to do. They don't want to separate their player bases. And I think as much as they may want to or to try it out, I really don't think they will.
I don't think there will be any Pro-only games. I certainly don't think that will happen, simply because of, as you said, splitting the market share. But in terms of a native 4K game, I think they'll try. A first party game will try, and they'll push that. So I don't think that's not a Pro-only version, right? They're like, hey, this game runs at 4K on the PS4 Pro because that's what it's designed for, and it runs at 1080. It runs at 4K subsample to 1080 on the PS4. Regular. That's fine. I don't see that being a problem like Last of Us 2. So in the future, I think they will make games in 4K in terms of when they create the game, they'll make the assets that way and just adjust accordingly, right?
So scale down instead of scale up.
And HDR is standard, pretty much standard on any game at the moment. Like at the very best they can. So
we saw it with Injustice too when we tried to play it on this shitty plasma in the corner here. It's like, how your TV can't actually do this.
I'm like, oh man. We need to find a new TV. Yeah. Let's do Patreon just so I can get a new TV in here.
Yeah, they might dabble in what you said, as in making it for the Pro and scaling it down. But in terms of making a Pro only game, I think they'd really be shooting themselves. They have such goodwill from the players at the moment for being literally, we are for the gamers, and they've stuck to that through this generation. So to do this pretty close towards the end of this generation's life cycle, well, we might be 2 or 3 years out still, I think that'd just be a really dumb choice.
And the same thing, it's just the way I see it's like PC sliders, right? Ultra quality compared to high quality.
Yeah.
And pretty much that's how I see it going in the future.
Yeah. But made at ultra quality first and scaled down.
Yeah, well that's how it works. So you make the game at ultra and then you bring it back.
Yeah.
Have a look. We've got here a question about cross-console platforming. I'll let you pick. Incorporating something from another company, or on the next PS4 update.
Let's go with incorporating something from another company.
Craig asks, if you could incorporate any one thing from Xbox, Nintendo, etc. into the PlayStation, what would it be and why?
So we did have a talk about this on one of the unaired pilot episodes that we've done, but out of everything that Microsoft does right, what I would love to see, I forget what Microsoft had called this service.
Game Pass,
where you can, it's an online blockbuster video rental service for your games.
Yeah.
So they have a library of your games, and it's like a Netflix for video games, yeah? But instead of streaming those games, you get to download them to your console.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
See, so PlayStation does have this with PlayStation Now, which is a streaming service for PlayStation 3 games. It's currently not available in Australia.
I don't think it ever will be available.
I don't think it will be available. And because the problem is because you're streaming the game, so you're not downloading it and then it's timed until your thing runs out, right? As in you're constantly streaming, so there's always a bit of lag. It's not quite as smooth as it should be. Especially with Australian internet, that is almost impossible. So bring the Game Pass over so you can get those older games you've never played before. Pay you $15 a month or whatever it is.
I want to play Red Dead Redemption. Yeah. I do not want to get out my PS3 to play it. If I could rent it.
Well, that's the other thing. The backwards compatibility side of thing could be interesting. At least the option of it I like. And PS Now is that. But here in Australia, so we don't have that option for that backwards compatibility. So I think that is a good idea. Yeah.
What about you?
I'd probably agree the same in terms of the Game Pass.
Yep.
What I would like to see come in from Xbox as well would be the Elite controller. That controller is tight. Like, it is so good. The right amount of weight to it, the right feel to it. Like, it feels like a high quality controller.
What is the difference though in terms of functionality? Well, because I really have no idea.
Yeah, so it's better build quality. So it can take a lot more shit. Like, there's more metal components than plastic components.
So what? Just the weight?
It's got the triggers on the back, so you can don't have to move your hands around. It's designed for the more hardcore pro player.
Okay.
It's got more custom. You can customize it to what best suits you in terms of how the triggers work, the length of the analog sticks. It's all these little details that allow you to make a more comfortable gaming experience.
So it's like having a $50 Microsoft mouse and keyboard to getting a Razer mouse and keyboard. As
an example, spot on, right? Okay. One's clearly made better than the other one.
Yep.
And that is one of and this is all it's all in-house. So Microsoft know the Elite, they create the Elite. It's not a third party. Like PlayStation have tried this with like the Razer Nagu and there's these like two other, they essentially licensed it out to two people, like Razer and Mad Cats, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, this is what our interpretation of an Elite controller would be. And I didn't like them.
The Xbox One, the Pro controllers, are they the ones Elite controllers? Are they the ones that you can create your own custom skin and stuff for as well?
No, that's just a standard controller.
I want that too.
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
All you have to do is go online and say, make my controller, and then you pick the colors that you want. You pay a little bit extra for it, and they mail it out to you. And boom, there's a cool new controller. It's exactly yours.
I'd love that. That would actually be really cool, just for aesthetics. Because Persona, what I missed with Persona 5 is there was a pre-order bonus I think it was in the UK, where you got a controller skin for the controller. It looks so good. Instead of just my boring black fucking controller, if I could do a color scheme and stuff, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
That would be very, very cool. In terms of what we can get from Nintendo,
no. It's pretty much what we want from Nintendo is what we talked about in last week's episode with what the Vita 2 could learn from the Switch.
Yeah, and like that's very, very unique.
That's very hardware orientated stuff.
My phone's kind of shit itself for some reason, so let's just do this. And apparently I can't read anything. Oh, there it is. Let's have a look. So let's go with
one more.
One more. This comes from Jacob Garner, or as he's known in our live streams, Pinch Zero. What games do we want remastered?
Okay, so let's outline what we interpret remaster as meaning.
So remaster is an old game that's just brought over and made prettier.
Nothing else adjusted.
No.
Because
Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is a remake.
Yep.
It's not a remaster, it's a remake. They've completely remade almost every asset of that
from the ground up.
Ground up.
See, Final Fantasy VII is also
a remake.
But it's also not Final Fantasy VII because they have changed a lot.
Exactly.
Especially the combat.
Final Fantasy X and X-2, that's a HD remake.
Yep.
The Kingdom Hearts, well, that's Kingdom Hearts is tough because that's in the same boat. It's a remaster, but it's also a remake because they lost a lot of the original assets. They had to remake a bunch of it.
Yeah.
But predominantly, it's the exact same game in every other way.
Well, the game for me would have to be The Legend of Dragoon on PS1.
Oh, shit, really? All right.
The JRPG.
Yeah.
Second JRPG I ever played behind Final Fantasy VIII. And if I remember rightly, the story is you are the hero, you are the protagonist, and you find this stone. I think it's like called a dragon stone. It's like a dragoon stone. And it clips into your armor. And then, you know how in Final Fantasy you have your limit breaks once the bar fills up? In The Legend of Dragoon, once the bar fills up, your armor, you take on the form of like a dragon. As in, you're still a humanoid, but your armor grows wings and you get all these different kind of abilities and all that in your dragoon form. And it was so fucking cool, man. And even like the turn-based combat, you know how normally you go attack and they go, yeah, and move back? As your weapons improved, it was like a quick time event every time you attacked. So you think like God of War when you take down a boss, like push X square, then triangle, then circle, then X, and you kind of combo a bit more. Same thing in Legend of Dragoon. You know, if you timed it properly, you'd hit with once, and then you hit it again, and they do the second, and then the third, and then the fourth. And if you get all the way through the combo, they do like a big and they
So you remember this is not a remake.
Just a remaster because
just make that the same PS1. It's gonna look really tough to make that look pretty these days.
I know, right?
So that would require a remake.
That's not. We weren't talking about the logistics of it. We're saying, what would we want? Okay, this is our dreamscape. Yeah, just if it could be done, this is the game that I would want to get done because, and also I just remember the story just being just really good because Final Fantasy stories at the age of, well, I think maybe 9 or 10. While I understood them, they were also very adult as well. Whereas I found this story a bit more easy to follow as a younger gamer as well. I tried to play it. I think late last year, I downloaded a ROM. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to see how it still was. Poo. Shouldn't have done it. It just didn't age well, unfortunately. What about you?
For me, I have two. Pretty sort of easy answers. My first one is Metal Gear Solid 1. That game.
That's a PS1 game, so it'd be really hard. It might have to be a remake.
Yeah, I disagree with that because they remastered it for the GameCube, right? For Twin Snakes.
Yeah, they did too.
They could just jump up the Twin Snakes version. So it's remake of the remake. It's like Resident Evil up in here.
Yeah, okay.
For me, because going back trying to replay that game now, it's really tough to look at. As in, no one has a mouth. It's just this block face, right? So it kind of takes you out of it, knowing where Metal Gear becomes, right? So, and then the other issue with that is, while being on PS1, it's kind of locked to Vita or PS3. You know, as in, and it's the same problem with Metal Gear Solid 4, right? It's stuck on PS3. So I'd like to see a bunch of... now, we already know that there's the PS2 remasters of Metal Gear Solid, Sons of Liberty, and Snake Eater. Like, they remastered them for PS3. I would like to see them all come to PS4.
A big collection.
A big collection in one big thing. Only because
that would get me to buy it and play it.
Because that is such a pivotal and very, very incredibly important franchise to gaming in general. Yeah. It's one of the first games that really took, Metal Gear Solid in particular, took games seriously as an art form, and like as in terms of incredibly powerful storytelling. You know, where at
from the Western side.
From the Western, well, it's not really Western because it's still it's Kojima, so it's still a bit Eastern. But
outside of a JRPG.
Yeah, outside of a JRPG, it's this great game with this insane lore, and everything about it is just super adult. So coming from, like, you know, playing a bunch of kiddie games on the PlayStation
Crash
1,
and Croc,
like all these things I never, you know, I'm like. Because it's funny, because I was getting to a point, it was like my late, like 9, 10, you know, but I was still probably too young to really get Metal Gear Solid. But I'm like, I wanted something a bit different. I didn't want to play Army Men, Sergeant Heroes.
Hogs of War.
Yeah, like Hogs of War. I didn't want to play shit like that. I'm like, what's the next jump up? And then it's like, boom, Metal Gear Solid. I'm like,
see, it is still one of the biggest franchise I regret never having played. And I pretty much haven't played it for the reasons you've just said, is that it's hard to look at and appreciate these days. If they brought a collection to PS4, like, what is it, all 5 games? Yeah. For 100...
All 5, plus you can get a couple of the PSP ones in there.
Just the core 1 to 5 for $100-$120. I'd buy it.
Yeah.
I'd love to play through it.
And my other one is the original Silent Hill.
Okay.
Or any of the Silent Hills, really. So I think Silent Hill 1 was so good at capturing this atmosphere, right? The game was really smart in how it portrayed fear and camera angles. Like it took what Resident Evil had sort of created in terms of its fixed cameras and that sort of stuff, but took it to the next level.
Yeah.
One of the key things this game did really well is because it didn't have the power to render long distances, right? Because PS1, so everything was foggy. So every corner was unknown, and it was really, really cool. So it was like they took advantage of what the limitations of that console was,
and spun it into the
to
game.
make it a
That's
better
cool.
game. So now there was a Silent Hill remaster, Silent Hill HD of 2 and 3, put onto the PS3. But one of the things they did is they lifted that fog. So a lot of the times you can see distance, and it kind of lost all its atmosphere.
Yeah, right.
So I'd be curious to see how they would remaster it, keeping a lot of those aesthetics, but makes a bit more polished game. Because there's nothing beats OG Silent Hill for me. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think the movie's decent too. I enjoy the movie until the last maybe
the first one was okay.
last quarter when it gets all weird. Yeah. Hey, Sharon.
There's a picture on the Instagram for Pop Culturist. I took a video when I was leaving work the other day, and it was like foggy. It was Silent Hill foggy outside.
Yeah. One more game that I just thought of before we move on to the drop. Same soundtrack as it originally had, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Yeah.
Exactly as the game is. Like, as the game was, just bring it forward. Keep the music.
See, I kind of think that like with Tony Hawk, I think it's a bit different. For me, I have a strong memory of Tony Hawk and why I loved playing it, but I still think Skate is actually a better game.
See, I'm not feeling that.
So if we were to go back and play Tony Hawk, I would probably be about it, only because I love the way Skate plays.
See, I hate it. My son picked it up the other day with his Pocket Money Skate 3 for the PS3.
Yeah.
How you ollie by like moving the right stick down and
it's
up.
actually like skateboarding. It's good.
Fuck that.
See, for me, that's actually like skateboarding. So you can get those little nuances, right? You can do the late flips. You know, you can, as in you can control how high you ollie because the button is ping. You're like,
yeah, but I don't care about that.
For me, I get if I wanted a better skateboarding experience, Skate wins by far. So EA announced Skate 4 already. You fucks. Thank you.
I remember, I don't know if it was for a PS1 or a PS2 Tony Hawk game, but I had the peripheral skateboard.
Tony Hawk Ride.
It was so shit.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. The idea was awesome because I was skateboarding at the time
Yeah.
as well, because when I was young and fit and not smoking 30 a day. But it was poo. It was really disappointing.
But don't worry, Skate did the same thing. They released a Wii version called Skate It.
Skate It.
And it used the Wii balance board. It was really bad.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the problem is because being skateboarders at the time, I kept actually trying to ollie the like it's really hard to not, because when you're on the board, you feel that motion you're used to being on a board, so you want to try to do the tricks.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I probably shouldn't kickflip this skateboard, this fake skateboard.
Yeah.
Probably a bad idea. Because it's all more about just where you place your feet rather than it wasn't as fun.
Where you like balance the Wii board on like a 2x4 and then
Yeah.
like ollie it and then it snaps in half. That'd be a shame.
Well, they are some old games we'd like to see come out, but they aren't the games that are dropping this week.
Yeah, so they're the old games that are dropping out. Let's find out what's coming to the players this week.
With the drop.
Does that work?
Yeah, fine.
Coming to the players?
Yeah, fuck it.
We've got one segment left that we need.
Yeah, coming to the players is, as I said, we used that last week.
Did
It's
we?
very sexually charged, but I'm okay with that.
Well, it's not... I said last week too, it's not coming on the players. It's coming to the players. The drop this week is weird because they haven't included any screenshots or any write-ups for any of the games.
Descriptions.
So I'm going to just list them off, and I've brought up a few descriptions separately for the games that we find interesting. First up, ACA Neo Geo The Last Blade, PS4 Digital. ACA Neo Geo World Heroes 2, PS4 Digital. Bugs Box, PS4 Digital. Deliriant, PS4 Digital. Embers of Mirim, PS4 Digital. Eternal Ring, PS2. PS4 Digital. Friday the 13th, The Game, PS4 Digital. Get Even, PS4 Digital. Guilty Gear XRD Rev 2, PS4 Digital and Retail. Kung Fury Street Rage, PS Vita Digital. Plantera, PS Vita Digital. Portal Knights, PS4 Digital. Pox Nora, PS4 Digital. Puzzle Showdown 4K, PS4 Digital. Rhyme, PS4 Digital. Samurai Warriors Spirit of Sanada, PS4 Digital and Retail. Smugglecraft, PS4 Digital. Spellspire, PS4, PS Vita Digital Cross-Buy. Star Ocean Till the End of Time, PS2, PS4 Digital. Now this is fucking weird. Utawerumono, Mask of Deception, PS4, PS3, digital and retail. No VR games this week.
That's fine.
I think that's the first week we've done it where there hasn't been one.
Yeah, especially for us. The last month and a half we've been doing this.
So I brought up rights for 2 of these games.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go through one first with Rime, which has had a bit of a funny story behind it. It was originally being developed by, funded by Microsoft until Microsoft cut the funding. Then it was picked up by Sony. And a few troublesome years later, here we are. It's finally coming out. Quick write up for it. Shipwrecked on a mysterious island with no memory of your past. Use your wits and guidance of a companionable fox to unlock secrets buried beneath its ancient monument. So it's essentially a big puzzle game.
Okay.
Looks gorgeous. It's got that kind
Caught your
of
interest?
It's got the kind of PS2 graphics, but at today's standard, if you know what I mean.
And the main character in the picture, that kind of looks like the guy from The Last Guardian, but better in every way.
In every way. The game, it looks like a nice, enjoyable puzzle.
Nice chill game.
3D adventure puzzler.
Cool.
So that could be cool.
I'm interested.
But the big one this week, Friday the 13th, the game.
It's the one we talked about a while back.
Friday the 13th, the game is a third-person horror survival game where players take on the role of a teen counselor for the first time ever. What? This write's weird. Or, I'll just put an or because I think there's an or Jason Voorhees. Is it Voorhees or Voorhees?
Voorhees.
Voorhees. Is he Mexican?
Voorhees? I think it's Voorhees.
You and 6 other unlucky souls will do everything possible to escape and survive while the most well-known killer in the world tracks you down and brutally slaughters you.
So, this is something we talked about before. So, it's the isometric style game that Evolve was, right? Isometric gameplay, as in it's 5 people versus the one big bad. But I think having the license behind it will make it do so much better than Evolve.
It could.
I think knowing that you could play as Jason and then just go mess dudes up.
I think the biggest issue, I don't know if we talked about this on an episode that's out of one of our pilot secret episodes, is that the problem with Evolve was that eventually, after a couple of months, if you had an equal skilled monster and 4 equal skilled players, the players will win every fucking time.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. So hopefully they find a way in this for that not to happen, because no one wanted to play monster anymore in Evolve, because it was very, very difficult to win even if you were a great player. So hopefully this will be a little bit different. Have we reached out?
No, I don't actually know who's publishing it, so
Well, you mentioned that. I will find out.
Yeah, so like I said, Evolve didn't actually go to the game's release date, the one we used before. Just search video game release dates, Australia, and I'll give you the answer. Look, I'm interested in it. As I said, I think the only way this can really work is if you are noticeably more powerful than the other people in the game. I think it's probably the only way to sort of get around it. It's on the list?
No, it's not on this list.
Oh, because if you look at the rights, that's where it says who the...
That's right, I'll find out.
PR is. Yeah, I think only if it's incredibly more powerful. Gun media. Don't know. We'll talk to Dave and we'll see if we can get something. Yeah, I'm curious to see. I think it'll be fun. As long as there's like, if we learn anything from the old school 80s horror movies, is there's some side boob. People do it at some point.
There's a picture on the write-up screen of like side bum.
Oh, side bum.
Yeah, this chick half in the water without a shirt and panties for kids skinny dip back then, didn't they? That was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't do that anymore. Really.
I don't get naked at all. I shower with a shirt on. Oh. It's horrifying there.
I poop with my pants on.
And that is pretty much everything that we were going to talk about this week.
It is.
It is pretty nice. Do you want to do the little spiel again about where people can find us?
If you would also like to join the PlayStation conversation, you can do so on YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud, 9 a.m. every single Monday. But if you would also just like to see us through the week, we're pretty active on social media, Facebook, and everything else. Yep. But where all the action happens is our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/thepopculturist. We've got about, nearly 40 members in there. Yeah. There's always chit-chats about different things going.
But everyone involved, so everyone in that list so far, very active, and that's what's great.
Yep.
Now, if you just happen to stumble across us, you managed to make way to the end of the video, thank you very much. Hope you like and subscribe, that sort of stuff. We do release videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of varying topics. And we also we do live streaming as well. There's no live stream schedule yet, but it's something that we are working on.
There's been 2 a week for like a month now. Yeah. So we'll have to just sort out
it's pretty much whenever we get a cool new game, we'll stream it. Yeah. Pretty much where it comes down to. Anyway, but I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
And that was for the players.